Well guys, I wanted to take a bit of time in between meetings today to kind of have a bit of a conversation about what's actually happening with everything coronavirus in the real estate world. Now, before I start this, I don't want to do this video in the sense of that real estate is more important than anything else. That's not what I'm trying to get at here. I have a job to do. I have clients that I have to take care of, and I want to put a process, and we have put a process in place to make sure that we get them the best result. With being really safe as possible, I'm following all the guidelines. So please don't take this in any other way that it's just to try and help people that are actually selling or thinking of selling, or my clients currently at the moment. So, as I said, I'm in between meetings. I just had some time to write some notes down and really break it down to a few different categories for you here. So for us, how have we changed the business? A lot of people have been asking how we've changed things. First off, as you know, as of last night, the Prime Minister has banned open homes, and that's totally fine. We fully understand. Some of our open homes a couple of months ago were getting 60 and 50 and 40 groups through, and that right now is not the smart thing to do. And that's great because we were already focusing on buy inspection only. So that's what we're doing at the moment. It is buy inspection only. We're limiting the amount of people that walk through a property at a time, and it might mean now that we used to have open homes for half an hour, we might be at a property for an hour, and we're limiting, say, one group of people through every 5 minutes. Those people leave, and then the next people can go through. And look, it'll change. We'll see what the government tell us what we can and can't do over time, and we'll adapt and overcome what needs to be on that one there. Better distance limited, as I said, better distance, limited numbers through each inspection. So I don't think there's going to be any issue with people being upset if they have to wait out the front a little bit, because look, we all know what's going on. So I think that's okay. Sanitizing and full clean down afterwards. So we'll have sanitizers, we've got hand cleaners, we've got gloves, we've got all that kind of stuff. If you want to have anything at all, you're welcome to have a clean up or anything like that beforehand. The one thing, please, if you do bring kids to an open home, please make sure they're not touching anything. And look, at the end of the day, don't let them freaking touch stuff at open homes anyway. It is honestly an agent's worst friggin' nightmare when you hear this clunking noise in the lounge room or something like that, and you walk around and there's a kid holding something. Anyways, now's more than time. A little bit of a rant. Now more than ever, just make sure your kids, you've got them with you and you know exactly what's going on, because they may not have it. You don't want them catching it from something, or they may have it. You don't want them giving it to anybody. Now the other thing is too, we've moved the office to home. So look, that's just a smart idea. But we've actually done pods. Now this is something that I don't think many other agencies have done, and great leadership from our owners, Johnny, Lynn, David, Ivan, Catherine. Thank you so much for actually implementing this. This has actually been a really great, safe way that if anybody in our office, and nobody has, but if anybody in our office comes into contact or has the coronavirus at some stage, it means that it's already isolated and the whole office does not get it. So let's just say if my team ended up getting it, it would mean that my team would be out of action, but it would mean that our office teams could actually still work for my owners and still sell properties. Where if the whole office was to get it, it would mean that nobody can work for it at all. So we're actually working in, I think it's 5 or 6 pods. We've evenly distributed the whole office up, and they're all working from either the office or from home offices and people's homes. And we're not actually allowed to hang out with the other people, which is interesting, because obviously we are very close. We call it a family, especially what these guys have done for us. We are a close family, and it's a bit of a hard thing to not kind of hang out with them at the end of the day. But what it is, it's a safe measure to protect you as a client, you as a buyer, as a seller, our own friends and family at the same time. It's to limit the amount of exposure that potentially we could be giving out to anybody as well. So the big question is, how have we been preparing for it? Now, if you saw my post yesterday or late last night, I've been doing this stuff and being prepared for over 7 years, or starting to implement all of this stuff that we're going to talk about now for over 7 years. My first property video was 7 years ago. I was wearing a suit that didn't fit me. I had spiky hair. I think my hair's not really good today. I had spiky hair. I was wearing a grey suit. I actually wore a suit and a purple tie, I think. If you want to go back to yesterday's post, have a look at the video and see how bad I was on video back then. I'm not much better now, but we've been doing video tours and video inspections for a long time. That's been 7 years. We've been using virtual tours and 3D scans for over 5 years. Now, this is a system called Matterport. It's a 4K camera that rotates around, and you can actually virtually walk through an open home 24 hours a day at any time. You can zoom in, you can move from room to room, you can zoom up and see what the layout is. Again, we've been using this for 5 years. Now, Facebook walkthrough tours, we've been using that for 3 years. And if you go back, we were Australia's first agent to do an open home with a Q&A back in 2016. So that was 4 years ago for doing this kind of stuff. So we are prepared for not being able to do open homes and being able to get people to buy sight unseen, which is what we've been doing. My complex, I sold a property to a guy in Melbourne, didn't even fly up. There was multiple offers on it. He paid the most amount of money for it, and he still holds the record for the villa in my complex. So this stuff is something that we've been doing for a long time, and it's not something that I'm new to. It is working really well. We are also working and trying to do a little bit more off-market deals as well. So people that may not want to actually go to the market and go to realestate.com or do open homes, or have people actually just coming through, not doing open homes. I apologize, I mixed up there. We're doing off markets a lot. There are a few properties that just kind of want to make sure that they're matched with certain buyers, and that comes into our actual next stage where we're now doing a lot of real, what are we calling it? In-depth buyer matching. That's not my wording, that's Alinta's. Basically just buyer matching, but really now speaking to every single buyer that we've met in the past year and going through, which we do a lot of the time anyway, but now focusing more than ever to make sure that we can actually match those buyers and taking them through only the properties that they're really, really, really interested in, or it's going to be done. So a lot of it, and you're probably a little bit confused there, but shouldn't you be doing that anyway? We were, but what we would be doing is we would actually be bringing people just in that price range beforehand, and if they wanted 3 bedrooms but it was a 2-bedroom, we'd still bring them through just in case they fell in love with it, where we won't do that now. If they have to have 3 bedrooms, we won't take them to a 2-bedroom property. We will only take them to a 3 and a 4+ bedroom home. So we're really going a little bit more systemized on making sure that they are more qualified on that. Skype viewing, so if you want to, or Facebook messaging, if you want to have a walkthrough tour with me, I can jump on the phone and actually talk to you while I'm actually going through the property as well. So if the video tour, my 3D tour doesn't work, my video walkthrough tour that I do on Facebook Live isn't enough for you, we can actually just jump on the phone and do a video link for you as well. Now, we use a system called DocuSign. Now, we've used this probably about 6 months, and man, if any agent, and a lot of agents are not using this yet, if any agents listening to this, jump on it. It is the biggest time saver in the world for agents, but it's also convenient for owners and buyers as well. Now, they're talking about how it can sit on paper for 24 hours or something like that. DocuSign, you sign the document on your phone by clicking a button, and it's sent back to the agent, and we can get contracts done in minutes instead of hours. You don't have to wait for an email, print the document, sign every single page, scan it, email it, and then wait for the agent to say, hey, that page didn't come through, you didn't sign that one, blah, 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 whatever it is. It is so simple. And then we'd have to send it to the other side and then get them to actually do the same process as well, and it could take 2 to 3 days. This is done in seconds, more so than minutes, hours, days, or whatever it is. We're working with agents that use PEXA. Now, PEXA, and I will do a specific video on this, PEXA is a system like, we'll just call it DocuSign for solicitors. It's not, but it's a simplified way to explain it. It is all done online. The solicitor doesn't now have to go and hand checks to people, which so many people do them, and I know that there are a lot of solicitors are rushing to get onto PEXA. So first off, David Colwell in Aspley uses PEXA. So he's right next door to us, so if you are looking for a solicitor that's got it. Northside Family Law in Sandgate, they are new members of PEXA as well, so they are using it as well. If there's any problem with shutdowns or anything like that, they can still electronically transfer contracts and get settlements put through. So if you are using a solicitor, make sure they use PEXA, and if you need somebody's phone number, give me a call. I'm happy to help out. I'll find out who you are, whereabouts you are, or who you want to work with, and go from there. Working with buyers agents, we always have. Look, that's, if an agent's watching this in my local area, that's been one of our biggest secrets for a long time. Buyers agents are massively an important part of our business. We are speaking to a lot of buyers agents at the moment, trying to find out what the sentiment is from their buyers. And what we're finding is for them, and this is interesting, what they're finding is investors are pulling out, but the people wanting to live in a property are still staying there, which is really interesting because our emails we've got coming through, we're mainly just getting investors emailing us. So that's a bit interesting there. So that's kind of what we've been doing. And as I said, we've been doing this for years. So don't work with someone that's just trying to figure this out. Give us a call, we'll sort it out. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the market? Honestly, who knows? There's no way that anyone can tell you that it's going to go up, down, up, left, right, and center, and tell you that it's going to drop by 20%, 30%, 15%, 5%, 1%, go up by 10%, whatever it is. There are too many reports out there, too many predictions. We know that this is going to hurt. There's no other way to explain it. It is going to hurt. And coming from the GFC, I know how badly this can hurt people. So what we want to do is make sure that we stop the bleeding or quickly, as in if we're making a sale on a property, we don't want the property sitting on the market for a long time. We actually want to get it sold fairly quickly in this current market, because the longer it will sit, it definitely will bleed and it will hurt, and your price reductions will just continue to happen. We spoke with 100 buyers yesterday. So to give you a bit of a stats, it's about 100 people. I think it was 98. Roughly about 30 people had already bought out of it, and these are people in the last 3 months that we've spoken to. 30 people are still keen and ready to buy. They are very safe in their jobs. They're in government jobs, health jobs. They've either got a property they're about to sell themselves, or they've sold a property they're renting and they're trying to find the right home to get into. So there is still some very good buyers out there. Now, the other thing is, though, there are, unfortunately, the 30% of people that we spoke to yesterday that are actually affected with what's going on. And as I said, there's no denying that there is impact with people's financials here. There is job losses, and, it's a crazy time for a lot of people. And this is the hard part about it. There are going to be forced sales. So there are properties still going to be coming on the market, which is really sad to know about. But those other 30 people that we're looking, or 30%, have now gone. They're just going to sit in their own properties, and they're not going to go to market or try and buy through the market, because either they can't afford to because they've just lost their jobs, or they're just really uncertain. And I fully respect that at the end of the day. Like what's actually happened to me, we've had close to five people that were signed up ready to list in the next couple of weeks to a month, and they've pulled out because they're really uncertain with what's going on. Now, speaking to a couple of agents, they were like, oh, you should just put them on anyway. That's not the right thing. If a client of mine is not comfortable with what's going on, I'm never going to force them to come to the market. As I always said, and I've done a video on before, when's the right time to sell? When you're physically and emotionally and ready to sell, that is the right time to sell. So if it means that if they have to come on the market in 6 months' time and they lose $30,000, but they know that they're going to lose $30,000 compared to what they could have sold for the 6 months beforehand, and they're okay with that, then that's okay. That's up to them to make that decision. But to put them through the extra stress of uncertainty of what can potentially go on right now, is stressful enough selling a property. I'm not going to add that extra stress to them. So I fully respect that, and we've got some really amazing homes coming on in the next 6 months anyway. The great thing is, as I said, there's 30% less buyers from what we're seeing. With the very small stats that we've been doing, there also seems to be a lot less properties coming on the market, which means that going off this year with the stock level and the buyer level, it still means there's still going to be a fair few buyers per properties coming through and looking to buy. So it's not all doom and gloom. I think we'll be semi-okay. I think that it will be still saleable properties will be sold very quickly. I think people that do the marketing, and this is definitely not a time period to skimp on any marketing at all. You need to be marketing the best you possibly can. They will sell very well. People that have prepared their homes and they've gone through, they've done a building and pest and they've fixed everything up, they will sell really well. People that use styling, which is a huge thing and it needs to continue because emotions, and this, we know about emotions right now, emotions sell properties, and they will get you a higher price point if people believe that that's how they're going to live in a property as well, and that's what styling does for you. What else is there? I've made a fair bit of notes on there. It says that lots of interest from investors at the moment, which is interesting from what I'm getting from the buyers agents, more so the homeowners. People are still taking advantage of the low interest rate. So I'm getting phone calls still going, hey, I've got all my money out of shares a couple of months ago or a week ago or something like that. I want to get into something more safe, which is generally property. In these times, what we find, and I said, I've been through the GFC, it's obviously very different, but the real estate terminology is very similar in a way, because what we're uncertain of is happening is the fact that people want to invest in something they can touch, see, smell, drive past, you know, and actually have a weekly income coming from it and actually see it as well. So we spoke about what you guys need to do. Marketing is key. Do not skimp on it. One thing that we've actually implemented that is a key factor, and I really should have put it at the start of the video because there's probably only one person watching it now, is that we have a zero upfront marketing system now, so you don't have to spend anything until you sell. And that still means that you can do the high-end marketing package, you can still do styling of the property, and it means that you can get the best possible price quickly selling, and it means that that way you don't have to pay until it actually sells. So please, if you are thinking of selling, give me a buzz. I can talk to you about that process, send you some information over. Now, the one last thing, for anyone that is actually in financial hardship, please reach out. I will not pry into your actual physical details. We have some fact sheets that we've been given from some professionals, which we can happily give to you guys. I won't ask questions. I won't try and list your property up unless you actually need help from me. I'm not going to try and make this a money hungry grab about anything, because we already know that there are people out there trying to do that, and it's sad that people are trying to take advantage of what's going on. That's just human nature. People just do that. I want to make sure that the information we can give you is actually going to help you get through anything that is happening for you guys. So again, guys, I hope that some of this information has been helpful. Each part of this video, I'm actually going to break down when I've got a bit of time and actually go into explain a little bit more. So I'll explain exactly what PEXA is. I'll show you some samples of DocuSign. I'll show you some samples of our videos and how we use video marketing, the Facebook Live stuff. All of those kind of things. I'll introduce you and show you what we're doing to actually just to give you a bit of confidence that agents that have been doing this for years are prepared, and we know what we're doing. We know how to make sure we sell you for more. So guys, I'll catch you soon, and if there's anything we can help with, just yell out. See you guys.